Hello everyone, welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today we're going to be doing the complete story guide series again. If you don't know what that is, basically I explain both the history of the world and the story that happens when you're there. This is kind of to make up for the fact that most people skip dialogue. Yeah, so I'm gonna get started. But first off, you might notice my audio levels are different and stuff like that. I got a new computer recently, and by recently I mean yesterday, which is why you can also see at the top left of my screen it is downloading all the assets of every world, because I need to do that. But it's hopefully fine. I tested the audio, or I tested both of them earlier and they were fine, so hopefully it's fine. If not, I'll adjust again before next video. And yeah, so we'll see. So let's get right into it. So Zafaria is actually very interesting. Long ago, Zafaria was a peaceful world where various animal tribes worked together. At one point, however, Zafaria was invaded by the Shadow Spiders, led by Morganth, and then in response to the invasion, the king of Zafaria called on the sun for help. At his prayer, the Council of Light, which is basically a collection of different people from every world of the spiral, all the most important people, they came together specifically to help the Zafarias and defeat the Shadow Spiders. Zebu Blackstripes, the king of the Zebra clan at the time and the great-great-grandchild of Zeta Zebu, fought alongside Diego Santiago Quariquez Ramirez III, basically Diego the Duel Master, who was likely from the world of Valencia, and was eventually given the Sword of the Duelist. He was also given an imperial fan by Emperor Yoshihito. The Council of Light ruined the Shadow Temple in Zafaria, fought off Morganth, and pulled out the Spider Queen's fangs, burying the Heart of Darkness for all time. After Zeba's death, his skeleton lived on in the resting place of the old kings of Zafaria. At some point, his grave goods were stolen by various marauders and mercenaries. So basically, what that is and what that means is that Zafaria was originally ruled by the tribes and the different collection of tribes. We can see that. We can see the zebras, the elephants, the jackals, stuff like that. Basically, they existed. And they existed in peace originally. But then Morganth came with her evil plans, similar to Celestia, and came over to rule Zafaria to kind of, support her nefarious purposes. And then that didn't really work out because the Council of Light just came down and just booted her out like the bitch she is. So that's basically the history of Zafaria. Very interesting. You can also see that over time the relations between the clans have kind of shooken, and you can kind of see that because the elephants, well, not only are there tribes of elephants invading, but basically the elephants and stuff are invading the lands out here with the zebras and the lions and stuff, and the elephants are all the way in Stone Town, and it kind of shaken relations there, despite the fact that they're not really related. And you can kind of tell that when you talk to the queen of Stone Town. She's kind of like, yeah, zebras, that's basically it. But anyways, that's the background history. So now I'm going to kind of get into the storyline so that you kind of know what happens. So, you've just gotten done saving Celestia. You've proven yourself at the Trial of the Spheres, and you've beaten off Morganth from Celestia. Now you go back to Wizard City as you usually do to continue your studies, and then you get a call from Orlambros, and he's like, okay, so Zafaria kind of not poggers right now. Basically what happened is we sent an exchange student program with like 7 students or something to Zafaria to explore the world and kind of learn from it, and they're all lost and scattered throughout Zafaria. So you need to go save them because you're our only capable wizard in this entire school apparently. So you're like, okay, I guess I can do that. So you go, you show up in Zafaria, and you learn immediately from Inyago White Stripes that there's, you know, still a council of people who rules over here, and to really do anything, you kind of need to gain their support. So you go over here to the Baobab Crown. In the Baobab Crown, you kind of meet with them, and you're like, hey, I need to save the students. We learn that one of the students is actually already up here. She's in a building up here. I'm not going to remember where all the students are, by the way, so don't expect me to, but over here in the dormitory, we save her, so that's already one student saved. And they basically tell us, okay, we can let you into the different areas of our world, but first you need to kind of help us. So the wizard does that because we're a nice person. We go over here to the Baobab Market, and we beat up some of the bandits that have been stealing their things, help out the people there. Everything's all fine and dandy. We beat them up, and then we come back, and they're like, okay, fine, you can kind of look for your students, I guess. That's fine. So then we go into the Savannah, which we're now allowed into. So in the Savannah, we immediately meet a dude named CC Snaketail, I believe his name is CC, right here, and he's kind of like, yes, and he's like, I am an elephant, and he has an elephant trunk on, or maybe he's the zebra one. Basically, he's pretending to be a different race, which is kind of like wearing blackface, which is a little bit sus. But you kind of beat up a bunch of bandits and stuff, and a bunch of things trying to save the students. You're trying to ask around where the students are, and then you beat them up, and they kind of tell you, yo, you could have just asked, we would have told you, our chief is right over there. So we go to the chief. The chief is like, yes, we found your student. She's just living here, gardening. And we're like, oh, okay. And we're like, okay, can we just take her and leave then? And he's like, no, you must garden first. Teach us gardening. So we do. We plant some evil magma peas here. I'm sure they'll enjoy the mega snacks they get in like once a week. We saved the student. She's like, poggers, I am saved. But before we can continue on, we need to, we need to finish up the Savannah and save the other student who we learn is being held captive at Nemean Rock. So we go through this. We beat up a shadow-controlled Queen of the Lions. Everything is all fine and dandy. We go up here to the Nemean Rock. We get threatened to be eaten by a giant lion man, and then we beat him up, and we save the next student, which is pretty cool, if I do say so myself. That student is then like, hey, yes, Zamunda. Now we need to head to Zamunda. So we go through the gate to Zamunda, and specifically right now we're in the Zamunda outskirts. We meet a lady up here, and she basically tells us, yeah, you need to beat up the elephants because they're being dicks. So that's what we do. We beat them up. We just absolutely destroy them. Oh god, that was a loud sound effect. What the fuck? We beat them up. Everything's fine. We continue on. Basically, this entire street area is beating back the elephants and saving the king. So we kind of do that. We continue beating them up. We go in here and we find out that there's two clans who absolutely hate each other and refuse to work together. So we kind of solve that issue. The fast tracks and thunderhoofs, everything's fine now with them because we led to an agreement, and everything's fine. Yeah, so we go through that. Then we come in here and we find out that there's a queen and a princess. The queen's like, yo, my husband has been taken by the shadows. This kind of sucks. We need to save him. And we do need to save him. But there's an advisor here, who I believe is named Tick Tick or whatever. He's dressed as a zebra, I believe. And he's like, hey, yes. And then you're kind of like, oh, okay, this guy's a little bit sus. And then you find out that he's also a liar and a traitor. So yeah, nothing really ends up happening with him. Basically, from there we need to go to the king's tomb to get this this blade. I forget what it's called. But the blade is designed specifically to help the king, I believe, or I think it's the king's blade, something like that. So we need to open the king's tomb. We can do that. We go inside and we're like, wow, it's kind of barren in here. Zebu Blackstripes over here, that's the guy I talked about earlier in the beginning of the video with the history. I said, yeah, you know what that guy did? He kind of fought against the Shadow Queen. That's pretty cool. We come in here, over here to the king's tomb. In the king's tomb, we basically go through it, and then at the end we figure out that the Tick Tick guy, I think that's his name, they're all different. It's like Tick Tick, CC, and something else, I don't know, but basically he's like, I was evil all along and now I'm controlling this king, this past king, to kill you. We beat him up, we get the blade, we come back, and we're like, okay, we can kill the king now. Or not kill him, we can free him from the control. So we come over here to the king's palace, free him from control, break this kind of tree thing that's controlling him, and then all is well again. Zamunda is saved. I don't know if you save another student here. Do you? Is there a student being held captive by him? I don't know, I don't think so. But basically, you save the king, which is pretty cool. You come back, and now you find out that to continue on, you need to go to Stone Town, because a lot of the students went to Stone Town or kind of lost. I think by this point you've already found like most of the students. I think there's only a few left, like there's like 1 or 2 students left, and then the tour guide and the prince. So basically you need to come over here to Stone Town to save the rest of them. So to do that, you need to build this boat, because this guy's boat sucks, and you collect the boiler, everything like that, all is fine. And yeah, so you now have a boat, and you go to Stone Town. You come here, and oh yeah, one of the students is being held captive in the zoo over here, and you discover that. Basically, you need to let him out, and to do that, you need a royal order from the queen. To get that, you need to persuade her, and to do that, you need to kind of fight off some crime on the streets, kind of make everything right again. You do that, everything's fine. And she's like, okay, you can save the student now. And then the student's like, yes, the rest went to Waterfront, excuse me, to, you know, continue. And then we're like, okay, so I guess we need to go over there, you know, and do that. So we come over here, beat up some mercenaries. We find out that a local crime drug lord guy over here is kind of being a dick. His name is Belloc. Belloc's a dick. We kill him. He dies. Everything's fine. There's no way he'll come back in the future, right? So yeah, we go to the library. Everything's all right. We figure out that we need to go to the Black Palace, because the Black Palace is where I don't know if it's where another student is, or if it's just like we need to defeat them because they're evil. So we go in, we defeat them. We defeat, I believe, CC or something at the end. Everything's fine, but he escapes. Excuse me. And then yeah, that's basically it. Then we come back out and we're like, okay, we need to go to Drum Jungle now, because stuff's happening over there and it's not good. So now we go to Drum Jungle, which admittedly is not, it's like one of the worst areas in Zafaria, but it's fine. So we come over to the Drum Jungle, which is where you get Colossal, by the way, so look out for that. We come up here, we need to save the gorilla lady in here from all of these evil gorillas. We do that, everything's fine. We have to find all of her voodoo magic items. We do that, everything's fine. We eventually discover that the tour guide, I believe it's the tour guide, is locked in this barrier, and to save him we kind of need to defeat things and remove the barrier. We do that, and then he's like, okay, the last of them, specifically the prince, went into Elephant Graveyard, so we need to save him from there. But before we can do that, we need to kind of release this land from its plague, which is Kala Silverback up here. Or is it Kala Silverback or Ogun Daggertooth? I think it's Kala Silverback. Basically, he's a dick. We kill him. He's like, oh no, I have been defeated. And then you move on with your life, basically. You beat up some more people. They let you in the elephant graveyard finally, and now you can finally move on with your life and beat up the you know, the last of the people. So you come to the elephant graveyard. You meet the queen there. The queen is like, "Hey, to get into where the prince is, we must release the barrier, and to do that, I need all of my all of the belongings I had when I was alive. And to do that, you need to defeat 4 bosses to collect them. We do that. We defeat the 4 bosses pretty easily. They're not that difficult. And we give her back her stuff. We play this like drum song or something, and we move on to Alyssa's tomb. In Alyssa's tomb, we find that the prince has been taken captive here. We beat up the people. The prince is like, "Oh hey, how's it going? You saved me." And then you're like, "Hell yeah, I did." And then we move on. We discover that Morganth has been the one that's plaguing them. I mean, I think we already knew that, but we know that we need to beat her up. And to beat her up, we need to go to Mirror Lake, because that's where she's hiding out. And that's where the Spider Temple was the first time when the Council of Light struck it down. So we go to Inyanga here, who's like, "Okay, to get into Mirror Lake, you must do these things." And then yeah, so you kind of do those things. You get into Mirror Lake, you defeat Cece, you defeat these spiritual dudes, and then you defeat her spiders. And basically, Morganth is like, "I can't believe you're ruining my plans. The mirror will break, the horn will call," something like that. And then you know, she decides to flee because she knows that she can't really win here, and she has other nefarious plans to get up to. So we beat Mirror Lake, we save Zafaria from pain and strife, and yeah, we've successfully beaten Zafaria. So hopefully that's a good synopsis of the story. I can't go too in depth, because then this video would be like an hour long. But that's basically it. I don't know if you can see a change in quality from my old computer, but hopefully at the very least it's better for me, because my old computer was absolute garbage. But yeah, if you enjoyed, please drop a like, hit the sub button. I appreciate all the support I've been getting recently. I might not stream today. I'm probably gonna stream Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because that works much better for my schedule. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video. Have a fantastic day. Thank you all for watching.